We are back. As I was walking down here, I sort of stumbled upon this really interesting idea. And it's something I've thought about before, probably multiple times, but it sort of just randomly came back to me. And I was thinking about it and sort of thinking I could talk about this. And I found myself sort of trying to piece together and make sure I'd be able to do it justice and communicate it in a way to not be misunderstood. And then as I sat down, I was like, you know what, maybe I won't talk about this, which would be totally fine, right? But in thinking about my last video, I remember how at peace I was at the end, sort of with the same exact situation of articulating something that needs a lot of information to be put across, and feeling as though just letting go completely of all of this and being like, all right, I did my best. Was it good enough? It doesn't really matter, because that type of thinking is past thinking that is going to be let go of. And that's what I'm doing here in this moment with this channel. It doesn't matter. So maybe I will talk about it. And I have a good way of sort of leading into it, because I've spoken about how a lot of my past fears and past, it's all about what other people think, right? And I spoke about in one of my videos recently how it's not your typical shallow caring what people think. There's a depth and a complexity to it that deserves to be, not deserves, but it's just a perfect example of if enough information is not shared, someone could have the complete wrong impression, which, as I say that, I'm reminding myself that it doesn't matter. But I'm in this moment, I'm like, I could continue on with what I'm talking about, or I could speak about something else I just recognized. Sort of this higher vantage point of what is happening so far in this video. It's like I'm having to string all these ideas together. There's so much, so many different perspectives and sort of offshoot ideas that need to be expressed. So this idea of caring what people think, it's less of, as I said, it's more complex than that. It's not that I care what people think. It's that due to my childhood and due to my experience with communication and gaslighting and the complexity of my experience, I was forced to not care what people think, but it was something I was forced to it was a factor I had to consider. It was something I had to keep track of. It was something, it's as though, see, there's so much I need to explain. And you know what? I'm feeling at peace with this, which feels nice. And I'm, in this moment, I'm recognizing that it's like I had a recognition, and then that recognition led to another recognition, and it's like, wow, I have 3 different areas I could go to next. One of them being just having compassion for myself. I have compassion for myself in this moment. And another one being something that I think is extremely important for me to put forth. This is something I've recognized a lot. The idea that my struggles, what am I seeing? Oh, it's a grasshopper. It's something inert. It's something that is natural within me. It is the nature of my mind and my heart. It is this complexity. It's like that is a factor, and the environment of my early experiences, my childhood, is also a factor. I feel as though if I was in a perfect environment suited for who I am as a child, I wouldn't be contending with so much of this. Or, on the other hand, if I was someone who dealt with the same exact experiences that I dealt with as a child, but was someone who didn't have this complexity of experience, I wouldn't have dealt with so much of this hardship that I've faced in my life. So there'll be times that I'll speak of, it's like I can only speak of one thing at a time. And if I speak about the inert qualities of who I am, being an avenue, being a cause of my struggles, it's like I'm not speaking about the other aspect. Or if I'm speaking about my childhood and my experiences being an avenue or cause of my struggles, I'm not speaking about the inert qualities of who I am. But to get back to where we were, it's like, due to my experience of a lack of precision, a lack of clarity, which was the result of both gaslighting, but also just a natural thing. I feel as though I adapted by really having to zone in on knowing what another person was experiencing in regards to me. Because it's as though there was a lack of, it was just so vague, my experience and the mirroring and the feedback that I would receive was just so vague and lacked so much clarity. There was no precision, and I was someone who required precision for reasons that I think I'll get into in the next video. And so it's as though I was forced to put so much of my energy into taking on and understanding another person's perspective of myself, so as to know what was required of me in order to get them to understand. It's as though, all right, this is where they are, and so now I'm able to know what is required of me to make them see the truth of what I'm experiencing, or the truth of who I am, or the truth of what I'm trying to communicate. And I think for me it was urgent. It was vital in the sense of I was dealing with severe emotional abuse as a child, torture. I was being emotionally tortured through time. And so we're at 13 minutes. Let's end this here. You know what? I'm pleasantly surprised with how this has gone. It's like in the past, I would have been extremely attached to communicating something and being sure that the other person was understanding, and always feeling as though I'm failing at that. I've put across a lot of information in this video, and so much of it is it's sort of all over the place, to be honest. But I feel as though this is showing who I am in a sense and what I've contended with. And I'm very happy with how this has gone. We went deep, and it was a success because of a shift in perspective. Let's end it here.